All right, so let's discuss the escalator a little bit. So it does depend on who you read it from. I read it through TSN and I read it through a few other sources regarding salary cap staying flat. So let's say the players say, we'll throw in a 2% escalator, throw it up to $75 million. So if they do that, again, remembering this is iced tea, it's not as flavorful as my Pepsi on the windowsill, but it'll do. So let's just play that game. So let's say the NHLPA comes out and says, well, we're going to do an escalator. I think they're crazy, a little bit. The NHL saying revenues are going to remain flat. We're not seeing an increase in revenues. The players, if they put in the escalator, they're rolling the dice that their escrow, which apparently is 15% if they initiate this escalator, 15% of their money gets held back. So teams can go out and spend whatever amount on the cap, and 15% of the players' revenue or players' salaries get held until the end of the season. At the end of the season, it is then decided by league revenues who gets that escrow money. Players would be gambling, ironically, that Vegas is going to make them more money. That the amount of revenue brought in by Vegas will help. It's tricky because then you're also betting on the Canadian dollar bouncing back and not dropping further, which, depending on the economist you talk to, it could drop further. I've seen reports saying 65, 66, 67 cents on the American dollar. Be another 5% drop from where it is now. And that's not small when you consider the amount of Canadian franchises, the amount of revenue they bring in, and that money will drop in its value by 5%. I personally would be very surprised to see the players bump it up, but they have the right to do that. And coming back to the video I just posted, you're setting it up where owners are like, okay, we're already not making money, and they keep bumping up their salaries. Yeah, we get the escrow money at the end of the year, but man, this is a pain. The escrow thing I've always found kind of strange. I really have. I know players make millions of dollars, and I know on some level it makes sense, and it's a fine, fantastic thing to be able to give yourself a raise every year. But escrow is a strange thing. I can't imagine a situation where I look at my paycheck and say, well, I've lost 15% of my pay, but at least I know I might get that back next summer. It's not a small amount of money. It's not. It's in the millions if you're making Crosby money or Taves money. And I know these guys aren't hurting. I know it's not like they're going to say, oh, I'm going to have to sell my second Rolls Royce now. Like, we're into funny money. But I just find the whole salary cap thing interesting in that it just keeps going up. So the league says that our revenues just aren't there, and the players go, yeah, the revenues aren't there, but we can bump this up. It just to me it seems like kind of a lack of foresight, just a little bit. And I can sort of get it. The NHL's coming out and saying there isn't more revenue, and the players have been told that before. Before the NHL opened up its books a few lockouts ago, the NHL was like, there's no money. We're all broke. We're all broke. All of these teams are broke. This whole league is broke. We're all broke. Well, how do you guys sign all those contracts? It's peer pressure, man. It's just Chicago's going to sign it, so the Rangers have to sign it, and then the Rangers sign it, and then Toronto has to sign it. We're all into these bidding wars, and you have to save us from ourselves. And a lot of that was crap. You look at the salary cap where it is right now, and you look at what they were fighting about back in 2003 in terms of salaries and wages, and the NHL pays way more now than they did back when they were saying, oh, we're all losing money and we're all broke. It's a matter of moving money around. So you take something that probably should be reported as revenue, go, that's off somewhere else. We'll detract that from the revenue, and then we can go, look, we're in the red. So to me, the escalator, the escrow thing, it's all part and parcel of the NHL and NHLPA having a broken relationship. I mean, and again, think of it from a professional standpoint. Your boss comes to you at the end of the year and goes, man, I'd love to give you a raise, but we just haven't had the revenues this year. And you can say, I think I'm going to get a 3% raise. And your boss goes, congratulations on your 3% raise. It's weird. It is a strange, strange world. And we can all envy that. And I fully admit, I kind of do. I think that would be fun. I think it'd be fun to sit down and go, I think I deserve a raise. And the boss going, well, we don't have any money. And he's saying, yeah, I think you guys are going to do fine next year. I think I'm taking a raise, and so's everybody else. And they go, oh, they're all taking a raise. Look at that. Good for them. Really? It's weird. It's weird. And I know I've been saying that a lot today, but it's really, really strange to picture the escrow thing, the escalator thing in any real world outside of professional entertainment and sports, any kind of real world setting where you can say, well, no, I think I'm getting a raise. And it would be something that a team like Chicago or Washington would welcome. But if it's a 2% raise, it doesn't fix Washington's problems. It doesn't fix Chicago's problems. A 5% increase would, but again, if the players bump it up 5%, they know damn well they're not getting their escrow money back. So they're trying to be in the middle, and you know, according to Bob McKenzie, there's no chance it'll be zero. So now we're all left to go, okay, well, wait, well, what? And normally if a person came on and said, well, this person says it's not going to be zero, I'd ignore it. But Bob McKenzie, and then when I did some further looking into it, I'm like, you know what, Shannon? Yeah, it's going to increase, but it's not going to be a boon. It's not going to be this big increase. Just an increase. And it is really tough for me, in my position as a fan, the same as you guys, to report on this and say, all right, here's what I think is going to happen, because I don't know. Because when you're into this, what percentage are they going to come in at? I would hope that, and this is the honest truth, when I look at all the lockouts, all the crap that's happened, I side with the players. I do. I've seen too many occasions where the NHL says, oh, we're poor, oh, we can't afford this, and they can. I've seen too many cases where NHL teams are not accurately reporting revenues because they report revenues in a different part. It's creative bookkeeping to make it look like you're losing money when you're not. And billionaires clearly would be, you know, capable of doing that. Part of being a smart businessman is being able to hide things in your taxes so that you don't have to pay taxes at the end of the year. It's part of the job. But, you know, again, whether the NHLPA comes out and says we're not going to use the escalator because we don't want to risk losing more money in escrow, or they come out and say we're going to bump this up by 2.2354%, it is a tough situation the NHL's in right now, because that Canadian dollar's in the tank. And when you consider the amount of money that Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, Edmonton bring in, and then you also have to consider, you know, Calgary is making a profit. Ottawa's making a profit. Winnipeg, as far as I know, are still making a profit. So you can't discount those teams. This is part of the reason why we don't see a Quebec Nordiques coming back anytime soon. And I've said that, and I've taken some heat for it from some people who say, well, that doesn't matter, and they give out other economic reasons why Quebec would be a great place to put a team. The NHL just seems to see dollars and cents, and there doesn't seem to be a whole lot else other than we want growth in these areas of the States, and we're going to do whatever we can to get there. So again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Again, this is just one of those situations that could go either way. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, because the off-season is always very fascinating to me, and I will be reporting on anything that I can find online to do with the NHL. And as in this case, when I post a video and then I do further research and I go, wait a minute, I should do another just to update my point of view on that, it'll happen. I don't have a problem with that. So thank you very much for your patronage, for sitting and watching me talk for 10 minutes, and I'll talk to you again soon.